I had to turn it down, become too bright. Guys, normally, I don't like looking at Raw. You guys know that. I don't like looking at Raw because a lot of times it sucks. I had to watch this because of my first video. This had to be made. This was the worst Raw I've seen. And if Just Alex says it was great and JD, they're lying through the damn teeth to themselves and to you, which I know they're not. I don't believe Just Alex and JD are going to be happy. They weren't on the first draft. This one just as bad and worse. Guys, nothing happened. We got maybe 3% movement on anything from both rosters. And the one roster that got some movement was just almost gutted for its women. HBK just got fucked. I'm saying it again. Now, I want to say this. If you had not seen when the draft happened on Friday, after when he was with Road Dogg, I believe it was Road Dogg with him, when they did the draft afterward, when it was all said and done and they cut the camera away, someone took a shot of him on Twitter and video where he had his card, looked back and forth, flipped that shit away. He was that mad. Here he's going to be even more mad because his women have been, most of them just been cleared out. Not counting what was stated for Saturday and Sunday's draft, I don't know. I don't know if there's going to even be more people that have been taken from NXT, but they just gutted a good chunk of their women's division. They just gutted it. They took 5 women. 5 in 2 days, not counting Saturday and Sunday, where the supplemental draft happened. But let's get started here. We're going for the, I'm going to do these matches very quickly because they didn't mean anything. What did we get for the first match? Dakota Kai and Bayley versus the tag champs. It didn't mean anything. Yes. Damage Control won, and it was Dakota Kai and Bayley. But it means nothing. Because guess what, if I remember correctly, Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan are currently on Raw. Now, of course, they're supposed to go back and forth between both. But honestly, why care? Then we got Ricochet versus Alpha Academy, which nothing happened. It wasn't about the match quality. It just didn't mean anything. Matt Riddle versus Jimmy Uso. Now, due to the fact of the draft, things have changed, which I will talk about in a minute. But Matt Riddle won. Good, he needed to win. But still. Another match no one cares about. Omos versus a jobber. Now, it's supposed to set up between him and Seth Rollins going into elimination. Not elimination chamber. Through, Backlash. I don't know why I said elimination chamber. Maybe due to the fact I don't care about Backlash. I don't care. Being in Puerto Rico, I may be part Puerto Rican, I don't care. Because this show doesn't feel like it means anything. So I don't know if that's going to mean anything, Backlash. So we saw Omos destroy somebody, didn't matter. We got Judgment Day versus Latino World Order. Now, Judgment Day is on Raw, I believe. Yep. And the Latino Order is on SmackDown. The last time they're going to interact with each other until someone crosses over lines. Because I don't think Vince won't talk, and I'll expand on that. But you know what I'm talking about. Yes, Judgment Day won due to the fact what's going to happen Backlash. Finally, Solo Sikoa versus a Seth Rollins, which I knew was going to end screwy. There was no way they're going to let Solo job and let Seth just win clean. Matt Riddle was involved, the Usos were involved, and the tag champs were involved. Of course, it had to happen that way because they want to keep them going and protect them as much as they can. Since supposedly the tag champs of Sammy and Kevin are going to still go back and forth between both brands, that's understandable. Well, at least I hope they are. We got this, which is not surprising. They're going to still have their feud. The Bloodline's still going to do what they're going to do. Now, the obligatory matches are over. We're done. The real meat and potatoes of all this is the damn draft. Now, let's make this clear. Did this draft do anything? Barely anything. Almost nothing was done. 95 to 96% of the rosters of Raw and SmackDown didn't move much. Now, I know most people will say, well, we've seen people who have been on SmackDown and Raw. Well, they've been doing that anyway, so nothing really changed. First line of the draft, Austin Fury. And understand, who did this was Triple H. Again, he came out as first, and he started talking. Just like on Friday, he did the first round of the draft for Monday. We got Austin Fury as the U.S. title holder on SmackDown along with Charlotte, which she was already there. Charlotte was already on SmackDown anyway, and Austin Fury was on Raw. Yes, he flipped, but I'm not too surprised that he flipped. There was nothing really there, because we already know Gunther's already gone to Raw. There was no point for him to stay there, so we now flipped. Then we got Rhea Ripley, who's staying on Raw because she was already there with Judgment Day. And we got Seth Rollins staying on Raw due to the fact that Becky's already there. So nothing has changed. Round 2. And we got Sharmell, I believe it was Sharmell, and Booker T. Can you dig it, sucker? It was nice to see Sharmell. She's still looking good. We got the Usos staying on SmackDown when wouldn't have been interesting for them to stay on Raw to be outcasted. Nope. They get thrown onto SmackDown to stay there. So that means instead of building, well, technically speaking, because we still don't know if Raw and SmackDown are still going to have people wandering. Yes, I'm going to come to Brock Lesnar in a minute. I will. The segments that we'll talk about, I'm going to them. Just a minute. But essentially, the Usos, if they had been thrown to Raw, you could have done something with Jimmy. Honestly, not Jimmy, Jay. I think Jay is more important than Jimmy at this point. Jay is more important. But they didn't go there. They just kept them pretty much on SmackDown. Unless, let's make this clear. The only way they can jump back and forth again is to get the tag titles. Or if Vince decides, well, I need the Usos on Raw once in a while, so I'll make sure there's some type of clause written in the special people, like Brock Lesnar goes. But not on SmackDown, when they should be on Raw and they have to suffer. But still, no. And we got the Latino World Order on SmackDown. Not surprised, they're already there anyway. We have currently the tag champs of Sami and Kevin on Raw. What's different? Nothing. And we got now Judgment Day on Raw, and that's everyone. Finn, Dominic, Priest, and Rhea Ripley. Like I said earlier, she was already drafted in the first round. Nothing changed. Let's go to the third one, where this is where it gets interesting, but not really. On Raw, we got the New Day drafted. Kofi and Xavier Woods. So Kofi's coming back from his injury from his ankle, and Xavier Woods is just going to Raw with him. They were going on SmackDown. There's not really much that's going to be lost from there. So they're over there. But then we got Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan over there, which they were on SmackDown, but due to the fact they're tag champs, they can supposedly jump from brand to brand. So nothing really has changed when it comes to the tag champs for the men and women, as long as they're still able to jump from one to another, unless they're going to split the titles, which would be stupid. They're leaving it as it is, and the tag champs for the women and men are pretty much, nothing is going to change. No matter what brand they're on, both divisions are not doing so well. Then we get, the Brawling Brutes are still on SmackDown. Nothing changed. Don't know about Sheamus. I believe he's still there. Because, Sheamus, I believe he's on SmackDown. And Drew is on Raw. Nothing's changed. Basically, that was okay, I guess. But Asuka is on SmackDown. Now, there was some information. I want to make this clear. I did hear the rumors that, especially her tweet, is this garbage or this shit? It's the world turned to garbage, and the truth, lies or shit or whatever. I can't remember what it is, but pretty much that was brought up, and many people wonder if she's asking for her release. She stated she is not. Until we know, I can't say yes or no, even though I did make a video. Guys, I made my video going by her original tweet saying, guys, I think it's time for me to go back to Japan. It is time for me to go back to Japan. Give me your rage. That video is still up. I'm not taking it down because, technically speaking, I think that is her real tweet of how she felt, of how she really felt frustrated. This next one, I think, is basically her getting some type of possible deal. If she's still staying, they made some type of deal with her. So she will probably stay. So she's going to keep that up. But you never know. She hasn't really said anything more than that. But we got to wait and see if anything happens. Now, for the 4th draft pick, Karrion Kross and Scarlett are still on SmackDown, along with LA Knight. Yeah, my boy. And I believe I did a video for LA Knight. I believe I recorded it. It is there. When I get a chance, I think I did it, didn't I? I think I did the LA Knight video. If not, I have to film one, and I will try and upload it this week. I don't remember if I did one, but I do believe I did. No, I don't think I did, but I am going to film one probably tomorrow. But knowing LA Knight is on SmackDown, not much has changed. And for the 4th, Trish Stratus, as well as Ronda, as well as Shayna Baszler are all on Raw. Anything different? No. Nothing. The 5th pick, we get Chelsea Blackheart, and I think I'll save that because you already know who the 5th pick on SmackDown is. But for Raw, we got, let me see here, Bronson Reed and Rick Boobs. Yeah, Rick Boobs and Bronson Reed are staying on Raw. Bronson Reed was already on Raw. Rick Boobs, as far as I remember, was on SmackDown, I think, at one point. I can't remember. Now, the question is Emma with him? Because as far as I know, Emma might still be on SmackDown. Or was she... Wait a minute. Was he on SmackDown or Raw? I think he might have been on Raw with Tennille Dashwood, formerly known Tennille Dashwood, who is now Emma. I think they're both on Raw. I could be wrong. You can tell me below. But I think they were already on Raw. But if you're on SmackDown... No, that's Madcap Moss. I'm sorry. Rick Boots was on SmackDown. He just switched to Raw. I'm getting a little confused between Madcap Moss and Rick Boob. And they kind of remind me of each other. So that's the reason why I'm getting confused. Sorry. That is the 5th pick. 6th, we get... Wait a minute. My mistake. The 5th pick is supposed to be the 6th pick for Rick Boobs. The 5th pick for Raw is supposed to be Ricochet and Braun Strowman. You know the reason why I forgot about them? Because they're not doing anything. Yes, they had that match with Alpha Academy, but I forgot about it because what's different? They're allowed to beat Alpha Academy, but what do we actually get with Alpha Academy with them? Not much. Not much at all. I mean, as far as I know, Alpha Academy is now also on SmackDown, so that might be the last time together. So, I don't really see anything really special there. Just a match to just give them some win before the other one leaves the other brand. Counting if they are staying on their brands. Now, let's get to what happened with... Well, no. Let's do Paul Heyman. I'll give it to you like this. Was the segment with Seth Rollins good? It was okay. And it's leading to Omos, which I don't want to care about. Now, they are making... Well, Vince is trying to make it as clear as possible that Seth could be going after the title, which is pissing off a Roman Reigns who really wants that title but can't because now he's stuck on SmackDown. And the Paul Heyman tried to hype it up a little bit. But that led to the final match of the night when Solo Sikoa came out. Or Solo. but it really didn't mean much. So this Raw literally had almost no changes. Now, supposedly, I know that Shinsuke Nakamura is on Raw now. No, on SmackDown, my mistake, sorry. Shinsuke is on SmackDown, and he dealt with The Miz, who is staying on Raw. Isn't he? No. My mistake, I'm so sorry. Shinsuke was on SmackDown before he got hurt, or when he needed a break. He came back and went to Raw. He's on Raw now. He messed with The Miz. The Miz called him tiny balls, and basically got a Kinshasa to the face for his trouble. That's Miz. I think the reason I'm mixing this up is due to the fact that I don't know what they're going to do with Shinsuke. I actually like Shinsuke Nakamura. I really do. He has a great gimmick. Who doesn't love the one who can create music with his violence? But do I believe Vince is going to do anything with him on Raw? I just don't know. He's dealing with The Miz, for goodness sake. Wasn't The Miz working with Matt Riddle and then they dropped it? And now they're having Miz work with Shinsuke Nakamura? The question, will it actually mean anything? I don't know. But that's me. You guys tell me below. Now, let's get to the true meat and potatoes of this. HBK getting fucked. Man, let me give it to you like this. I don't know if anybody else is going to cover this. They'll basically cover it. But let's make this clear. As I said earlier in this video, HBK has been fucked. Vince, I don't believe Triple H did this. This is a Vince decision. He lost literally 5 women and 2 men. Chance, he lost Carter, he lost Indy Hartwell, Isla Dawn, and Alba Fire. He just lost his tag champs. He just lost the #1 contenders for the match that's supposed to be tomorrow for the tag titles. He lost Indy Hartwell, and he just lost pretty deadly in 2 drafts. And then worse. This is what I know. I know Vince was fucking with him. Because he knew when... Let's make this clear. When the first draft happened and he was with Road Dogg, like I said, and someone recorded him right after he had to make those announcements of Indy Hartwell and Chance and Carter. No, not Indy Hartwell, Chance Carter. Indy Hartwell, as well as for Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. You saw him go like this. Through it. Vince saw that shit. If it was recorded, Vince saw it. There's no way someone didn't see it in the back. So Vince wanted to fuck with a Shawn Michaels. You know why? Because when Shawn Michaels was supposed to come out with Adam Pearce, what happened? Brock Lesnar came out while they're doing the announcement and literally ended that shit. Abruptly stopped him. And then guess what happened? After that segment happened, when Brock wanted to say what he wanted to, which he did, he now can go between both brands as much as he wanted. And Cody nailed him in the back, and then all of the security had to stop Cody. What happened then? HBK had to take care of all that by himself. He had to make the announcement by himself, asking, hey, you're going to help me? Oh, well, it's just me. And he did it, finished, but then, once Road Dogg came out, he fucked with him. I believe it was Road Dogg. What? RVD and Road Dogg. When Road Dogg came out and says, and for NXT, and I'm sorry, dude, you're getting screwed. You're going to be upset. You're going to get pissed. He said pretty deadly. That legitimately rubbing it into HBK's face. Let's make this clear. We've always wondered if HBK was running NXT. And the way they booked it, as I've been saying since I've been reviewing this, it didn't feel like a Vince McMahon thing when he was gone. It felt like something a little bit in between when it came to Vince, how he used to book in the late 80s and early 90s, as well as how they used to book NXT beforehand. A little mix of both. So that means Shawn Michaels took a little bit of the boss he worked with for so many decades, and from his best friend who became his boss and worked on what he learned. And he combined them. Now, I'm not saying NXT was ever perfect. It wasn't. It always had ups and downs. But it was, in some cases, since January to December better in some cases than Raw, and in some cases SmackDown in particular. So we knew that it must be HBK running it. If it's not Bruce Picture, it's HBK. And now seeing this, I know 100% HBK was generally running it. And now Vince just literally raped his roster. He took out 5 women, 2 sets of women that legitimately are about to challenge for the damn titles on Tuesday. Isla Dawn and Alba Fire are challenging for those. Well, they got challenges of Chase and Carter. Chase and Carter are going. Sorry. Chase and Carter are literally challenging Alba Fire and Isla Dawn for the damn titles, and they're going to the damn roster. What does this mean? Unless HBK stops it, which has already been announced. It has been announced. So unless he changed now, the show that literally he's got to film either today or tomorrow, if it's been filmed at all, he has to deal with it. That means once Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, if they win, they're going over to Raw. I believe they're going to Raw. Where is Chance and Carter going? Oh, my mistake. I believe Alba Fire and Isla Dawn is going to SmackDown, and Chase and Carter going to Raw, because Cameron Grimes is going over to SmackDown, so they're going to Raw. So they did lose Cameron Grimes. He wasn't doing much. Pretty Deadly, 3 men already. And 2 of them were really good. Not saying anything about Cameron Grimes, but Pretty Deadly was already over, and they were working with them. Then we have Chase and Carter, who are currently the contenders. They're going to be challenged for a title from the champions, where both teams are going this week and next week. This week, they're going to SmackDown, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, and Chase and Carter are going to Raw next week. I know I sound confused, but this is what we got. The most screwed up thing here is HBK's roster has just been raped. And ripped. A good chunk of his women's division just got ripped out. 5 women. The tag champs, the contender to tag champs, and the current champion, they're gone. And even though they can go back to the roster and basically show the titles on Raw or SmackDown, counting on who wins this Tuesday, and who wins, I believe, is Indy Hartwell going to Raw or SmackDown? Raw. So, the NXT champions will be going to Raw. We don't know where the tag champions are going to go. That's happening tomorrow. We'll know either it's going to be Friday or Monday. And he got fucked. I wish, I'm hoping someone recorded him after he did his bit, because I want to see how angry he is. Particularly now. It is so crazy. But this is just me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't even know I've even sounded coherent, because let me make it clear. Raw was boring. We have basic for the basic matches. I'm saying it now. It's not that the matches were bad. They were just ordinary matches. The rosters for Raw and SmackDown barely changed. And even that they flipped them does not mean that means anything. Means nothing. Nothing major has changed. And now, NXT just lost how many people? They lost their tag champs, that's 2. Their contenders to the tag champs, that's 4. Their champion for the women, that's 5. Pretty Deadly, that's 6, 7. And then Cameron Grimes, that's 8. That's 8 people called up. And the question's going to be, at this moment, I don't know if JD and Just Alex are going to say it, or Solid Monster, or the Slag Daddy, or Wrestling Inc. I don't even know if Wrestling Inc. is going to say anything. Will they be booked? Let's make this clear. If you don't know what might happen, the reason I stopped watching NXT for so many years and never reviewed it until 2.0 happened was due to the fact that the roster, every single time when they had call-ups, what happened? Nothing. Vince did nothing with them. Either he left them in catering or he just released them. Or worse yet, if he did do something, he buried them. Killed anything they had. If they had any type of showing as heels or faces, he buried them, and then he rebuilt them the way he liked them. So the question is, all 8 of those people, are they going to still be in the rosters halfway through this year? Will they just disappear and not be seen? Will they be released? That's going to be the question. I posed it to you. Tell me how you feel. Peace.